Welcome back. State-owned retailer Indian Oil has announced a 56 paise cut in the price of petrol prices effective midnight tonight. The reduction comes as an appreciation of rupee against the US dollar has helped state firms make profit on the fuel. Petrol price was last revised on the 24th of July when it was raised by 70 paise. It was last cut on the 3rd of June when rates were reduced by 2 rupees 2 paise per litre. Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Jayalalitha announced more SOPs for micro, small and medium enterprises in the cyclone-ravaged Cuddalore and Viruppam districts. The Chief Minister has allocated 14 crore rupees for the enterprises which had suffered extensive damages in the Thane cyclone that hit the two districts in December last year. She had earlier sanctioned over 12 crore rupees for 2004 enterprises in Cuddalore and 53 in Viruppam. On to news from the city, where a house was robbed in Chennai's RK Nagar, with the burglars decamping with 10 sovereigns of gold and 20k cash along with some silk saris, and also managing to set the house on fire after the burglary. Police and forensic experts are conducting their investigations.
Burglars broke into a house in Chennai's RK Nagar. Sources do tell us that the burglars gained entry through the rear end of the house, and in fact they walked into the house after breaking open this door. They entered the house. In fact, the victims here say that the burglars looted around 10 sovereigns of gold jewelry, rupees 20,000 in cash and some silk saris. The burglars set the house on fire and they decamped the house. Forensic experts lifted fingerprints from the scene of crime. In fact, the police are now at the scene of crime. They are examining the scene of crime. The police sources do tell us that they have registered a case and a detailed probe is on.
Moving on, the empowered group of ministers headed by Finance Minister P. Chidambaram met to decide on the one-time fee to be levied on telecom players participating in the 2G spectrum auction. The group will send all its recommendations to the Cabinet, which is expected to take up the matter on the 16th of October. Ignoring the Attorney General's suggestion, the group decided to charge one-time fee prospectively from October this year for all telecom companies having more than 4.4 MHz.
We had a 2-hour meeting today and we have tentatively resolved all the issues, and we are now moving to the Cabinet, and we'll try and get it to the Cabinet on the 16th if possible, so that the matter can be finalized.
The Union Civil Aviation Minister has been in recent weeks preoccupied by the crisis facing Kingfisher Airlines. But now Ajit Singh will also have to focus on a crisis closer to home. After Kingfisher Airlines, now it's Air India pilots who are complaining about unpaid salaries. Minister Singh said that he had not received any letter from Air India pilots on delayed salaries. He added that salaries at the national carrier had been delayed, but all outstanding payments will be made. Weekend reports noted that a section of Air India pilots had sought Mr. Singh's intervention in resolving their grievances related to due salaries and allowances.
I've seen it on TV, but I have not received any letter. And let me say that salary may be a few months late, but for many months now, 4, 5, 6 months, salaries are being paid regularly.
Amid a war of words between the government and the opposition over the recent CAG reports, President Pranab Mukherjee cautioned that attempts by any organ of the state to overreach will unnecessarily lead to dissonance within the system. Inaugurating the 26th Conference of Accountants General, Mr. Mukherjee lauded the CAG for offering the helping hand to governments and local bodies in building up and enhancing skills in financial management. He also expressed happiness that during the past years, CAG's audit has shifted from routine compliance audit to a more macro perspective.
The most important aspect of any auditor is his or her probity and credibility. We are intensely aware that it is our responsibility to maintain the immense professional credibility that we have come to enjoy nationally and internationally. To ensure that our professional and personal conduct is above reproach, we have adopted a code of ethics comprising the general ethical requirements of integrity, objectivity, and professional secrecy and competence.
Cautioning that absence of economic reforms will slow down growth, Finance Minister P. Chidambaram said that political parties may oppose but should not obstruct decision-making. He added that the government of the day must be allowed to lay down policies, pass legislations wherever necessary and get on with the job of implementing those policies. India's economic growth during 2011-12 slipped to a 9-year low of 6.5%, and during the first quarter of the current fiscal it was 5.5%. Expressing confidence that with requisite savings and investments, India's economic growth rate will recover to 8% and more and perhaps touch 9%. The minister said that we should keep that rate of growth as our objective and progress towards achieving that.
See, 7.6 was a target fixed in the beginning of the year, or just before the beginning of the year. Since then, global developments have turned more adverse. Our growth rate will be 4 times the growth rate of advanced economies and twice as much as the growth rate of the global economy.
Ambitious statements that the finance minister is making about the economy. 8.2 did he say today? Hoping to peg the Indian growth at 8.2? For who is this growth? For who exactly is this growth being pegged at 8.2? If it is achievable, I would like to ask from the BJP, for whom is this growth? Because whether at 6.2%, whether it is at 5%, whether it is, we are expecting it at 6.5%. Last 8 years, the growth, the tantalizing growth figures that we are being given every time is devoid of job creation. Let us not forget that.
Updating you on the Mumbai terror attacks case, the 2611 key handler and LET terrorist Abu Jindal was remanded today in the National Investigation Agency's custody till the 20th of October by a Delhi court. Jindal, who was produced before the district judge H.S. Sharma in an in-chamber proceeding, was handed over to the NIA for 12 days. The anti-terror agency had sought Jindal's custody for 15 days, saying that he was required to be thoroughly interrogated. The NIA also told the court that since his arrest in June 2012, he had never been in its custody. The NIA had been seeking Jindal's custody in connection with an FIR registered earlier this year, following unearthing of Lashkar-e-Taiba's conspiracy for terror strikes across the country.
पुलिस कस्टडी 15 दिन की मांगी थी और चूंकि हमारा केस सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट था, कोर्ट ने उसको कंसीडर करते हुए 20th of October तक के लिए NIA को कस्टडी दे दी.
Another short break for now, but we will be right back soon.